Dwayne's Guitar Lessons. I'm instructor Dwayne Jenkins. In today's video, we're going to be continuing with our study of the book that I wrote, Lead Guitar Wizardry, Volume 1, where we are going through the fundamental principles of how to play lead guitar, so that can improve your lead guitar playing. And hopefully you've watched some of the other videos so you kind of know where we're at. Today we're going to be talking about Lesson 13, which is our minor key progressions, okay? So if that's something you're interested in learning, keep watching and we'll check it out. Alright, so now what we're going to do is we're going to talk about these minor key progressions that I was talking about. But I wanted to say something to you, show you something here real quick. I wanted to say thank you to some of my subscribers for purchasing the book. I really appreciate it. Should be in Mike for doing that. Really appreciate that very much. I think it's a great book, and if you're really interested in learning how to improve your lead guitar playing, or at least get started with it, I'd recommend getting this book. Not saying I'm biased to because I wrote it, but I think it's a good book. It's going to teach you a lot of cool stuff, and if you keep watching these videos, I'm going to go through the book and the lessons and show you what you can learn out of it, okay? So you kind of get the book, have the video lesson to go with it, you know, kind of getting two birds with one stone, so to speak, all right? Okay, now I wrote this last year, so I'm a little bit behind on my videos. Sorry about that. And Lead Guitar Wizardry Volume 2 is just about done. I got it finally loaded up to Amazon and got the proof, so they're going to send that to me. Probably I'll get that next week. Then I can proofread it. So if you're not too sure about, let me tell you a little bit of the process of the books. Is you create the book, you load it up there, and then you order a proof. They send it back to you, and then I go through it, edit it, and make sure I crossed all my T's, dotted all my I's, all that stuff. Make sure I didn't misspell any words, that kind of stuff. And then, you know, then I fixed it in the manuscript and re-upload it, and then it's ready for, you know, for purchase. So when it gets to that level, then I'll show it to you, okay? But I wanted to tell you something about a couple other books. So I wrote this one last year, and since the time of writing that and working on Lead Guitar Wizardry Volume 2, I've written a couple of other books. So I want to kind of tell you about that here. This one here is called Learn Guitar. Simple Guitar Method for Beginners. And this is just kind of a get started kind of book, and it's got some pictures in it. It's in color, and it shows you the chords, and I got the tablature in there as well. Okay, this is the proof, so I've got some marks in here that I'm making, but I just wanted to show you, this is pretty cool. It's got some pictures in there, full color pictures. It's got the tablature in there and stuff, you know. And so if you know anybody who's interested in playing guitar, maybe they're interested in getting started, this is a really good book for that. Let's see, here's some of the things that I go over in this book. Let's see here, I'm going to look at the table of contents here. So now I need to make videos for this, and I will eventually. You know, I'm just a little bit behind on these videos, so I'm going to try to get caught up on them. But this one goes to like which guitar to choose, whether you're playing acoustic or electric, how to hold the guitar, you know, sitting down or standing up. When you're learning, I'd recommend just sitting down, but, you know, tuning up the guitar, how to tune your guitar, using a guitar pick, how to hold the guitar pick, learning your first chords, forming guitar chords, reading guitar sheet music, improving your chord changes, how to improve your chord changes, picking hand development, strumming, arpeggiating, playing melodies, all kinds of good stuff in here, okay? So if you know anybody who's just getting started playing guitar, I got pictures in here as well. They're just getting started. This is probably a good book for them to get started with, okay? It's called Simple Guitar, Learn Guitar Simple Method, and I have this on Amazon and also my eBay store too. And like I said, if you buy it from my eBay store, I'll sign it for you. So I want to say thank you so much for that. And this book here, which I'm really, really happy about, but I'm going to mention that in the next video because I don't want to make this video too long, okay? So we got to get down to our lesson here. All right, so the lesson here today is Lesson 13, our minor key progressions, all right? Now, most songs in rock are written in minor keys, okay? Minor key progressions because that just gives it that sound, all right? You know, rock is kind of a darker kind of style of music. You know, pop music is usually written in major keys because it's got that kind of happy, uplifting kind of sound to it, is where rock is a little bit darker, a little bit, you know. So the reason for this because it gives us that sound, okay? And I write that here in the book. This song, and since rock is derived from the blues, it is mostly written in these keys, okay? Because that's where a lot of rock and roll came from, were the blues, all right? So one thing is, what we want to do, and the reason why this is important to know these minor key progressions is so that way we can solo over them with our minor pentatonic scales, okay? So what I do is I give you a few in this book. I give you a few examples of these key progressions, and I'm going to go over through them with you in this lesson. All right, if I can learn to talk here. All right, so this first one is an A minor. We'll just say A minor right here, to a G, to F, to an E. Okay, and I basically just keep it pretty simple. You know, four down picks per chord. Okay, now you can do the rhythm any way you want to do it. Doesn't matter. You can. Any way you want to do the rhythm, doesn't really matter, okay? Or you can strum it. So what you want to do is maybe record that, maybe on your phone or something, in the type of rhythm that you like, and then you can, solo over the top of it in your A minor pentatonic scale. And you'll see that those notes will fit, and that's a good way of doing that, okay? Now, for instance, like I say here, if you were playing over a G minor progression, you would play the scale pattern at the 3rd fret, because that's where your G is located on the 6th string. So if we were playing an A, it'd be right here at the 5th fret, like we've been talking about, okay? But if we were playing in G minor, we'd want to play it here at the 3rd fret. And then of course we're going to play it up here. It would be at the 1st dot, 15th fret, instead of the 2nd dot where the A is. Okay, if we're playing in G, okay? But we're playing in A, and I do mention a key progression here in G. This is example number 2, okay? So, let's say we're going to do a G minor chord progression and play in the key of G minor. Then we would play G. We could do G, C, D. Then we go back to C if we want. Back to G if we want, okay? Doesn't really matter how you do it. If you work on the progression that I presented here in the book, that'll work really well for that, okay? And like I said, you can do it any way you want to do the progression. Just repeat that. And if you're into writing songs, that'd be a good thing that you could do for maybe a song idea. Okay? And then let's see. Our 3rd example is in B minor. So if we're going to play in B minor, we would play right here at the 7th fret, okay? Because that's where our B is located. And then as we go through the book, I'll show you the other patterns as well, and you can play in different positions on the fretboard. And if you learn those 5 patterns that I present in the book, you'll be able to play all over the fretboard and always stay in key and sound good, okay? So hopefully you're working on your personality licks that we talked about in the last lesson, and you're extending notes in the patterns like we talked about, from pattern 5 and pattern 2, because pattern 5 is right here. Well, if we were in the key of B, pattern 5 would be right here. Pattern 1 would be right here in the key of B minor. And then pattern 2 would be right here. And I'll go over more of that later in detail about those patterns, but for right now we're just kind of looking at our minor key progressions so that we can solo over them, okay? So let's say we're playing in B minor. We could go B, E minor, F sharp minor, then back to B minor. And I just noticed right here that I made a mistake in this book. I'm sorry. So if you have the book, it says F3M. That's supposed to be an F sharp minor. Sorry about that. I'm going to have to go back and fix that. So just go and cross that. I'll make that a sharp. Sorry about that. I must have missed that. See, not good editing. I gotta work on that. Anyway, so that's a good one you could try in B minor. B minor, Go to E, F sharp, back to B minor if you want, okay, or back to E, doesn't matter. Just those three chords work really well together, okay? And you can just kind of hear how those notes fit with that, okay? So that's what I recommend do. Just maybe record it on your phone or something, you know. Get that progression going in any rhythm that you want to play it in. It doesn't matter. You can play it in any rhythm you want. And then work on soloing over the top of it. And see how those notes fit, okay? All right, so our next minor key example, example number 5. Oops, I'm sorry, example number 4 is E minor. E minor to A minor, B minor, back to E minor. So we could do something like E minor here, A minor, E minor, back to E minor. And you can do that with, you know, the bar chords. You can do it with your power chords, whatever you want to do. Doesn't really matter, okay? And I'm sure you probably got your chords down already, so be sure to work on that, okay? And once again, you can do the rhythm any way you want to do it. You know, just up to you, however you want to do it, but just make sure you got the right chords. That's the main thing. And then when you... So if we were playing in the key of E minor, then we would play up here at the 12th fret because that's where our E is located on the 6th string. Okay, so even though our chord progression would be here, you know, E to A to B, these three chords, and I'm only just keeping this real simple, you know, so you just kind of get the fundamentals. Later on, once you learn more about chords and the keys and stuff, then you can use different chords. But for right now, we're just trying to keep it simple, okay? Just 3 chords. You know, a lot of rock songs are in 3 chords anyway, like AC/DC. I mean, there are tons of 3-chord songs out there. So that's a good way to start off, especially if you're just writing songs too. Something to think about. All right, so then we would play our scale right here at the 12th fret. Our E minor pentatonic scale would be right here. And our 5th one would be right here for those extended notes that I talked about in the last lesson. And then our second pattern would be right here at the 15, 17. And then you could just, you know, extend yourself into each one of those patterns. As long as you end on the E again, okay? Or you could do it in open E right here. So those would be the 2 positions. You should usually have 2 positions that you can play your scale in, your minor pentatonic scale in. You know, here lower in the 1st octave, and then up here in the 2nd octave, okay? All right, so let's look at minor key example number 5, which is our C minor right here, or I'm sorry, C minor right here, 8th fret, F, and we go to G, back to C again. Once again, a just real simple 3-chord progression, like a 1-4-5, so to speak. Okay, these are things that you really want to master. Okay, these are your fundamentals. Your 1-4-5 progression. That's like blues kind of stuff. You know, you hear a lot of that in blues. Then you go to the 4. That's the 4th of progression in the key. And then the 5. Back to the 4, back to the 1. And then do a little turnaround. You've heard that. It's in tons and tons of songs, okay? This one we're just playing it in C, but once again, if you're going to play the minor pentatonic in C, it's going to be right here at the 8th fret. And if you record that progression, like with your phone or something, you're going to clearly see that that's going to fit over that, okay? Those notes. And what you want to do is practice that so you can kind of hear how the notes work with the chords, okay? That's what's great about this particular scale, as it being a great place to start, is because of the fact that the notes, they just fit so well with different chords. A lot of different chord progressions these notes fit really well with. And that's why I recommend it being the first place for you to start, okay? In volume 2, we'll be going over like modes and stuff like that. It's a little bit more in detail, but just stick with the fundamentals for right now. Make sure you don't skip the fundamentals. I can't tell you over the years how many people have come to me, because this is what I do for a living. I teach private guitar lessons out here in Colorado, and I can't tell you how many people have come to me because they run into a roadblock and they've been playing for a long time, and the reason why they run into that roadblock is because they skip the fundamentals. You know, so make sure that you don't do that, okay? I know the fundamentals aren't always the funnest thing. Maybe you see somebody doing something that's more advanced, seems really cool, and you work on that, and it's cool and everything, but you gotta have the fundamentals, okay? It's like athletes. They focus on those fundamentals over and over and over and over again. It's very, very important, okay? So when you run into a roadblock, go back to your fundamentals. I guarantee it's gonna make a big, huge difference, okay? So we have one more here, our sixth example, D minor, okay, so that's going to be right here, the 10th fret to G minor underneath it, A, back to our D again. If you'll notice, it's a pattern, and I've been teaching you about patterns. You know, look at it, the fretboard in patterns. It's going to make a really big difference. It'll help you to learn faster if you look at it in patterns. You know, any key, you could just, you know, your 1 is right here on the 6th string, your 4 is going to be right underneath it on the 5th string, and then if you go up 2 frets, that's going to be the 5. That's the fundamentals of playing the 12-bar blues, is that 1-4-5 progression. And your minor pentatonic scale is going to fit over that every single time. In any key, it doesn't really matter. In this particular progression, I showed you in D, so D, G right underneath it. Move up 2 frets, you got A. And then back to G again. Okay, and like I said, you can play that progression any way you want to play it, you know. Or you could go to or you could go from D to G here if you want, and then A here if you want, all on the 6th string. But that's, you know, a little bit more. Whatever you want to do, you know what I'm saying? Whatever you want to do. And then we just, once again, if we're going to play that minor pentatonic scale in the key of D minor over that, it's right here at the 10th fret, because that's where our D resides. So you record that, and you'll see very clearly how those work together, okay? These are very common chord progressions in rock and roll music. You can hear these in multitudes of songs throughout the decades since rock was born. Back when Elvis and Little Richard, Chuck Berry, Jerry Lee Lewis, you know, were the ones who kind of were the founding members of rock and roll music back then in the 50s and stuff. And if you listen to their songs, I don't know if you like them at all, but if you listen to that music of that era, you're going to be able to hear these progressions in it very, very much, from the 50s, the 60s, some in the 70s, some in the 80s, okay? And it's still widely used in rock music today, and any guitar player playing this style of music, no matter if they're playing rhythm or lead, should be familiar with these types of progressions, okay? So this is a good thing to start off with. I would highly recommend that if you don't know your 12-bar blues progressions, study this, okay? And as you start to hear it, you'll get more familiar with it. You're going to hear it in songs, okay? These progressions come from the rhythm and blues and will always sound good no matter what century they're being played in. They represent the foundation for rock and roll music and playing lead guitar solos. That's why I present them here, okay? So make sure you know these minor key progressions, for they will serve you well in your journey to becoming a great lead guitar wizard. All right, that is provided you develop the commitment and discipline to do so. All right, so we got to make sure that we're committed to I hope I learn how to talk. That we are committed to develop the discipline necessary to make this happen, okay? Now, I don't want to make this video too long, but so go ahead and practice that. Practice your minor progressions, okay? Put those together. If you need to, get the book. The book will really help you with that. I wrote all this stuff in there. And check out this video. And I guarantee you it's going to really help you out a lot with understanding the fundamentals of how this works. And then you can take that minor pentatonic scale and solo over it and listen to how it works, okay? And if you have any questions at all about this lesson, be sure to let me know in the comments, or you can, contact me through my website or on Facebook or whatever you want to do, and I will help you out. I guarantee you. That's what I do. This is what I do, and I'm trying to help people out, trying to teach more people how to play guitar and really understand the fun of playing this instrument, Once you learn this stuff, it's fun to play, And once you learn where to play it, you know, over those progressions, then it's really a lot of fun, all right? So thank you so much for watching. We'll conclude our lesson there. Be sure to check out my website at DwaynesGuitarLessons.com. Join my email club, Dwayne's Guitar Club, for, you know, a lot of good stuff coming at you through your email if you like that. Check out my eBay store. Check out the book. And like I said, if you know somebody who's just getting started with playing guitar, you know, maybe they have a birthday coming up or something, you could get them this book. This is a really good starter book. Learn Guitar, Simple Guitar Method for Beginners. This is a really good one. I'll be doing some videos on this too. Like I said, I'm a little late on my videos, and I wrote another book. I'll show you that in our next lesson. That one's really cool too. But I don't want to make these videos too long. So thank you so much for watching. Appreciate it. Keep practicing. Keep practicing your hammer-ons, your pull-offs, your slide. Make sure you know where that minor pentatonic scale is. Make sure you know that in those different keys, and practice these progressions. And I guarantee you're going to see some real good improvement in your playing, okay? So until our next lesson, you take care.